that there is a legitimate claim in relation to ancestral land question. They have not done it. Equally, the government has not said that as a government, we now recognize ancestral land to be an issue that must be part of our land reform package. We recognize it, we accept it, we will work for it. And because we recognize it as SWAPO, we recognize it as government, we are putting up the commission to work out modalities of how to achieve that policy outcome. And that the commission must now help us to go and speak to people and to bring ideas as to how we can incorporate it in a policy. No, that has not been done. Had that been done, even the evil SWAPO, we would have said, all right, fine, let's give the commission a chance. But the commission is placed as a stepchild outside the SWAPO and government house to say, go and interview people on the ancestral land question.
Yeah, but
hold on. So they must go and interview people, and then they must come back. Now, what should the commission now do? The commission will first have to, hopefully, they manage to, it will have to first convince the government, the boss. What if it doesn't convince the boss? That's one. So you are sending a commission to go and do work that you don't agree with. They must come and convince you. Chances are that you are not going to be convinced, because there was a big land conference. Even at that land conference, you were not convinced on the ancestral land question. How will a small commission convince you? Because you claim, remember, your claim is the land conference was such a huge success. Yeah. So it must have been a success for the ancestral land right. It hasn't been. So you go, commission must be convinced. Commission must come and convince you. You may choose what you do with those recommendations. What is the track record here of this government? Presidential commissions of investigation into many other instances of corruption and GIPF have never been implemented. Chances are, because the commission has at least 9 months to do certain things, that is around the time for elections. Chances are it will be shelved. That is one. Number two, you have placed in the commission some small people that we know are funded by some ministers to buy clothing and tires and some sweets and some roll-on and things like that. We know the persons. Number two, you have placed some of your puppets who are in the NGOs that are so desperate for jobs. People like Uhuru Dembers are placed in that commission that would not necessarily stand up for ancestral land issue. You have then placed even my own grandmother, who is about 80 years old. This is an old auntie that you can just go and interview, but you place her as a commissioner to make what contribution? You have placed other puppets of yours in the commission. Conjure. Remember, these people could be campaigning for electoral college or two for the list of 8 where they can be made. Because these people you can call quickly and say, I'm seeing that there is this recommendation, distance yourself from that recommendation, or so on and so on. So, in that context, it is a pity that they have a good person. I respect Judge Waitele. And as a judge, I have very little qualms with him. He used to be my lecturer. But Waitele is also still a SWAPO party person. Why wouldn't you then go for a professor, an independent professor? But this is actually primarily a SWAPO committee. If you look at Waitele, if you look at Kapama, and if you look at Conjore and some other... Exactly. So you have placed people that are against some of those that have boycotted the land conference. You have not asked PC and others to bring in their own representatives. Then you have brought in the principal puppet within the traditional authorities, who, by the way, is not respected by the people he claims to represent, Mr. Tzazi, the deputy chairperson of the Council of Traditional Authorities. He's a man, by the way, who stands publicly on record for having cursed the deputy leader of LPM. And we dealt with that question because he was talking about upbringing of children, but we know that one of his children were in a court case involved in the Avett case. So, but we don't go there. We respect that person. So you have a conglomeration of puppets that are strategically placed to produce particular outcomes. Yet again, this is a Swartbooi committee. You see, these people want to pretend to do right things, but for the wrong purpose, with the wrong people, at the wrong time. By the way, my good friend, Nekundi, was celebrating on Facebook the commission, that the progressive decision was taken to have the Ancestral Land Commission. Just a couple of minutes thereafter, the report came of the Fitch downgrade, and I'm told some of them were crying tears in their private, in their offices and at homes. The weekend was not good for these people. They were crying tears. They spent a lot of whiskey and finished so many liters of whiskey because they were so drunk. The problem they have is, what message do we go and tell the people during elections this year? Because we can't tell them about freedom struggle. Because Sakis Ikela and others are 26, 27 years old. They have very little to know about it. They also want their lives to be fixed. They can't tell them about how well they have managed the economy, because Fitch and Moody's and others are saying something differently. What would have been, Sakis, what we were proposing initially as an alternative way of having done it, we were saying to them, then, first, leave the land conference. Start with a commission. Asho? Start with a commission. That's what LPM was proposing. We'll be okay if you shelve the conference for now. Let the commission work even for a year. Let them go and assemble all the necessary information they need to have. Make their recommendations. And let their recommendations now be tabled at the land conference, so that the land conference has a substantive document from which it can now work and say, this is possible, that is not possible. Because you would then constitute, not as it is now, constitute the commission with professional people. Of course, you'll always have a mix of traditional authorities, that's fine. But professional people, experts, people at the University of Western Cape, people at the National University of Science and Technology here, we have great local capacity also. But we're saying, make it a hybrid and internationalist type of commission that can carry great credentials, even bringing the Germans in that were doing maps the other times and so on, because you want to resolve this issue really. And we were saying that perhaps, even if the commission recommendation, some of it is not what we want, we would be striking a consensus. Now, because you want to manipulate, you then develop a position paper. Went to land conference with a position paper, found that that position paper is rejected, and recognized that the ancestral land issue actually stood up more importantly than all other issues. Now, we were trying to advise, but again, when they don't take our advice, they realize that they make mistakes. So that would have been our alternative first. The second alternative really, Sakis, is that some things are just ready to be done. Go and expropriate foreign absentee landlords' farms. Go and expropriate. You don't need a commission to tell you that you can go and expropriate land. But instead of expropriating land where they have a law, this government is now in the process of expropriating skulls of hereros, damaras, and namas and hosting them at this National Museum. What are you doing with people's skulls? Why have they expropriated the skull? Now they are going to expropriate Witboy's Bible and his Shambok. Under which law? No, they don't have a law. To expropriate cultural artifacts. There's none. They are expropriating not even with a cabinet directive, but with a ministerial action. Illegal. Skulls of people, go and bury. Erect a monument there. And let people come and visit it as a holy site or howsoever they deem it out of their cultural perspective. Shambok. You see that Shambok also, I saw Katrina was playing with that Shambok. Terrible, these people, how they are lightweight with important issues. You can see the intellectual and ideological framework and basis is lacking. How does a minister play with a Shambok of a revolutionary like that? And remember also, it's quite interesting. Dirty hands took the Bible and the shambok. Dirty hands of dirty people, of a dirty government, are facilitating its return. That shambok will spiritually shambok them the hell out of power. They did a spiritual and political miscalculation. That shambok, and it will start with Katrina.
She's already in ACC. She
Yeah.
belongs in jail by now.
Yeah. That girl, Katrina, she must learn to keep quiet. She talks too much with no intellectual basis. Tap, 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 tap. She must learn to grow up and grow into the position and recognize the mantle of the office. Now they have a Swartbooi rally where people want land, where there is no proper sanitation facility, much of it. They don't even offer an alternative on the land question. And Nyoma was given, unfortunately, by Hendrik Witbooi at that time when he came back. And Nyoma must return that hat. He was given, did you know that, Henny, that he was given by Witbooi the head of the chief. Back in the 1990s, Hendrik Witbooi stood up and put the head of Witbooi on Sam Nyoma's head. That was a spiritual and political miscalculation. Nyoma must bring back that head as part of the repatriation. Yeah, he must bring, and by the way, he must also take back the kiri and other things of Hosea Putago and so on. So our alternative really is for this government to grow mature, and for all of those in the political realm to sit down maturely and talk. And LPM is ready to talk to even the government, this evil government, to talk to them and to say this, that, and the other is how we will be doing things. But we are too aware that they like to plagiarize. We are now seeing Hage and one other opposition party is sounding like LPM now. And we are offering Hage, reluctantly, we are offering him, because we realize that he's becoming LPM, we are offering him a position as a member of LPM, but a position where he will never hold any executive post, because they are too dangerous. Maybe to come and sing songs at LPM, because he now sounds like LPM.
Maybe dance.
Maybe dance, yes, he's very good at dancing. That's the one thing Hage is good, he can dance better than myself and Sable. So maybe a position as a dance commissar or something.
That's the only good thing.
That's the only good thing. A man can dance.
The rest,
must give him
intellectually, he will not match.
So that is our alternative. Get the land from the absentee landlords, and let us give our people land in urban areas free of charge. Free of charge. And let us address most urgently the question of the common. The question of the common. Let us address it and see how it can be done. The next question, please.